education is a topic that I'm really passionate about, especially when it comes to funding for education, which has been cut across the board. Grade school, colleges, junior colleges, state schools, doesn't matter. They're all experiencing cuts. Well, Senate Democrats are proposing more cuts to grants that would help college students afford college, okay? Senator Tom Harkin has proposed legislation that would take money out of Pell grants and then use it to fund loan contractors that, of course, are employed to collect loan money from these students. So the money appropriated for the Pell Grant program this year would fall $303 million, or 1.3%. So I included the 1.3% because I don't want to be misleading, okay? $303 million is not that much. But when you really consider the reasons why they're doing this, I find it egregious, especially when you consider the fact that college debt or student loan debt has exceeded, or surpassed, I should say, credit card debt in the country, which is ridiculous, right? And this is not a debt that students can, get rid of through bankruptcy. This is a debt that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Now, most of these funds would instead be used to pay private contractors that collect borrowers' monthly student loan payments. The cuts come amid an era of record college costs, skyrocketing student debt burdens, and decreasing government support for state schools. The Pell program has a budget surplus that is forecast to turn into a deficit in 2 years. Cuts to the program would likely lead college students to increase the amount they borrow, further driving up the nation's $1.3 trillion stack of unpaid student loan bills. And if you guys are thinking, well, who cares? I'm just, a middle-aged individual who isn't really concerned about this issue. You should be concerned because oftentimes students are forced to take out so many loans that they can't pay back. And who do you think foots that bill? It's the U.S. taxpayer, okay? So when you get rid of grants that give these students money to afford education and instead you fund it toward loan contractors, you're just making the situation worse. And it makes me sick to know that a Democratic senator is the one that's proposing this. Very strong Democratic morals here.
Can I just speak for the people who might be high or drunk or tired or half listening right now? Because I want to, my spirit animal is all of them, and I want to make sure I'm understanding this completely.
Yes.
So just so I'm sure, instead of money going to students to help them repay their loans or, giving them some kind of a break, that money is being taken away from them and given to the people who are going after them to collect from them.
100%.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I heard that correctly because that also sounds like something from The Onion.
I know. It's crazy because at the same time, just keep this in mind, they're cutting funding on a state level, okay? They're cutting funding for a lot of the schools that make education affordable for these students in the first place. So junior colleges, a lot of junior colleges are important because you go there for a very low price for 2 years, then you transfer into a 4-year institution, right. And at that point you don't have to pay that really expensive tuition for 4 years, only 2 years, right? You're cutting funding for that, then what are these students going to do? You're cutting funding for state schools, the most affordable schools, the schools that I went to, right? And all of a sudden, you're seeing your tuition increase from, let's say, $3,000 per semester to $6,000 per semester, And a lot of people can't afford it, so they take out the loans, again, loans that they can't get rid of in bankruptcy, and they're saddled with student loan debt for the rest of their lives because if you're taking out tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're never going to be able to pay that off, especially with the current job situation that we have right now.
So what I like to do is we have some college students here, and I always like whenever I come in contact with current college students, I like to tell them that in California, up until 1970s, college was free. College was completely free in California, completely free. Why wasn't it? Well, who started charging people for college? Well, Ronald Reagan started charging people for college when he became governor, and the rationale he provided was, why should I subsidize people who are going to vote against me? And now tuition is, they just,
wow.
And kids who protest against college increases. By the way, it's just wealth transfer. It's got nothing to do, we don't have to charge people for college. We've got endless money. We're the richest country in the world by far, right? We still have an economy twice the size of China's. We can totally afford it. We just showed in the last segment, we showed all the money we're spending on defense. It's not stopping. We're buying jets that the Department of Defense doesn't even want. And they tell us we're broke. When they say we're broke, they don't mean that we can't afford trillion-dollar wars, trillion-dollar bank bailouts. oil subsidies and prison construction. That's not what they mean. They mean we can't afford stuff like college and schools and education and roads and firemen and healthcare, anything that fucking helps you. That's what they mean, because we've got endless money for everything else. You want to go where else college is free right now? College is free in Germany. College is free in Norway.
But hasn't that destroyed their economy? I mean, hasn't that led to... No, but this is a real problem. Hasn't that led to degree inflation? And as a result, all these people are getting degrees, and then that really fucks up. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't fucking happen.
Yes,
okay?
Germany's strongest economy in Europe, Germany, college free.
It's amazing.
And by the way, when you said, and I appreciate you saying, it's $300 billion, and just to put it in perspective, it's 1.3. I don't know anybody who knows anybody that doesn't think $300 million is a lot of money.
Right.
So I appreciate that it's only 1.5%, but that's a shitload of money.
Right. It is a shitload of money, especially when you consider that the average student who gets a Pell Grant, again, these are grants. The students don't have to pay them back. So that's why they're so crucial and so important. The reason why this makes me so mad is because the average student takes out or gets about $4,000 in Pell Grants, okay? And I'm talking about the poorest students. I'm not talking about people who have like millionaire, billionaire parents. I'm talking about people who come from families who have a household income of $30,000 a year or less, okay? 4 people in a household, $30,000 or less. You can't survive on that in America. You guys all know that. So these people are trying to pick themselves up by the bootstraps, right? And create opportunities for themselves. But how are they going to do it when the funds necessary are being taken away from them?